Okay, new Masechet Baba Mesiah Bet Amud Aleph, new topics. Shanaim Achrin Betalid, if two people come in front of Bet Din holding a garment. Zeomer Ani Masatiya, one guy says, I found it. Zeomer Ani Masatiya, the other guy says, I found it first. Zeomer Kula Hashali, this guy says it's all mine. Zeomer Kula Hashali, this says it's all mine. All right, seemingly two ways of saying the same thing we'll discuss in the Gemara. This guy must swear that he owns not less than half. I mean, the guy owns at least half. And the other guy swears the same thing. Interesting with Shivua as well. Interesting wording. We'll explain that as well. Yeah, then they split it in half. The contention was on the whole thing. They split it in half. One guy says it's all mine. Another guy says half of it's mine. So they're arguing on 50%. First, the second guy is agreeing that the 50% belongs to the first guy. The guy who says it's all mine has to swear that he owns 75%. The second guy says, no, half of it's mine. He should swear that he owned at least a quarter. They split it 3/4 to a quarter because the contention was only on 50%. The first 50% automatically belonged to the first guy. So they split the second 50%, 1/4, 1/4. Okay, next case. Two people were riding an animal. One guy was riding it, one guy was leading it. One guy says it's all mine, this one says all mine. One guy swears that he owns at least half. Other guy owns that he says he owns half. And then they swear. And then they split it in half. However, if they both agree that they both got to the item at the same time, they found the item at the same time, or that there are edim that if that happened, they could split it without swearing. When says, why do I need the Mishnah to say, why don't the Mishnah has to say that each guy says, I found it, and then then each guy says, it's all mine, this one's all mine. Mention one. You don't have to say both. Both of them, that's practically the same thing. I found it, it's all mine. No, I found it, it's all mine. Just mention one. I found it. Gemara says, no, Hadaktani. If the Mishnah mentioned one, it says, it says, no, really the Mishnah is saying the conversation went where the guy says, I found it and it's mine. And the other guy is saying, I found it and it's mine. Gemara says, okay, the Mishnah should have just said the case as follows. I found it, and we'll know that when he's saying I found it, it means it belongs to him. Why do we need a double ashon? Why do we need both of them? I found it and it's mine. If you only mention that I found it, Havamina might think, my mitzatiya ri'ita. What does it mean I found it? It means I saw it first. I forgot Loma Atalamadid, even though it didn't come into his hands. BRURIA ba'al you might think that he'll acquire it by just finding the lost item first. I saw that animal first in the forest, so therefore it belongs to me. Therefore, Tanakula Shlita for the Mishnah specifically say it's all mine. He didn't acquire by just seeing it, rather he had his hands on it. Right? It only works by seeing it first with your siblings. Would you actually think that my that if we only said, oh, I found it, would be only referring to seeing it? Rabnai says, the pasuk says, and you find it. It sounds like you already have it in your hand. So when we say that metzatiya, I found it, it doesn't. You wouldn't think that it means he acquired it with vision. When it says in true, the pasuk when it says you find it is referring to and kind of goes to the fact that the guy has it already. However, you might think that the Mishnah is just using common language. And usually people, when they see something, they'll say, oh, I found it first. And even though he didn't touch it. So Tanakula Shli, for the Mishnah specifically meant it's all mine also to teach you the you don't acquire by seeing it, but you have to touch it. You have to grab it. Okay, you made my life easier. Mention only the case of it's all mine, and you don't have to mention I found it. If you say all mine, you know the guy took it already. No, if you only mention that, then you might think that in general, when the Mishnah says elsewhere, I found it, you would acquire by looking at it. If I had to mention both, teach you the Mishnah Yeterah, The actual wording will teach you the halacha that you don't acquire by seeing. Right? So you would still think that riyah would be koneh, vision will be koneh elsewhere. One second. We said before, oh, it's one case. The guy is saying, I found it and it's all mine. But that doesn't make sense. The Mishnah said, this guy says this, and this guy says that. This guy says, I found it, this guy says, I found it. And this guy says, it's all mine, and this guy says it's all mine. It sounds like two different cases, two separate conversations. It sounds like two separate cases. So therefore, true. Some people say it was Rabbi Kedi. The first case, the Mishnah, where he says, I found it's referring to a lost item that he found. The second case is talking about buying and selling. And both cases are necessary to teach you the halakha. Utsricha. You need both cases. The itana Mesiah hava mina Mesiah. You might think if you only mention the case of a lost object that you found, you have to swear to split. You might think only in a lost item you have to swear for. Mishim demode because maybe a guy will be like more heter. The guy is going to be like, oh, he'll rationalize. He'll be like, listen, that guy's not losing anything. It's a lost item. He's not having a true loss. I'll take it and say it's mine, and we'll split it. Therefore, we make him swear. But since buying and selling, you can't say that there's a loss. You can't say that there is no loss. Rather, there is loss. Maybe you don't need a shivua. Therefore, we say both. If you only mention the cases of buying and selling, maybe only there you'll have a shivua. Because maybe the guy will be more heter and rationalize and say to himself, the guy's giving money to the seller, and I'll also give money to the seller. But I really need this piece of clothing. I'll take it. The other guy go find something else. Right? So the other guy really was trying to buy it first. I jump in, I'll hand him, and I'll foos the guy afterward. Let this guy go get a different jacket elsewhere. Therefore, you make a shavua. But regarding a lost object, you can't rationalize and say that because maybe you can't find something else. So the imallah, maybe you should not have a shivua by a mitzvah. Therefore, it's you need a shivua in both cases so that people don't rationalize and do these type of things. Why it would be a safek in the case of buying and selling? Ask the guy who sold the item, who paid you? Did Reuven or Shimon pay you? And then we could, there's no safek anymore. The guy took payments from both. One guy gave him money because he wanted to buy the item. The other guy threw the money into his hand. So therefore, he doesn't know which guy was paying him for the purchase, and whoever forced the purchase. Right? You have one left on the shelf. One guy says, "Oh, how much is this jacket?" You say $100. All of a sudden, you see you have $200 bills on the table or in your hand. Who paid first? Who's the one who asked? Who's the one who wanted it? You don't know. So in that the situation, we say you could divide it with a shivua. Now, our Mishnah that says that speaks is seemingly against Ben Nanas. The Ben Nanas, because Ben Nanas, what does he hold? Ha'amar ketzad elu ve'elu ba'in de shivat shav. He does not allow situations where there be an automatic false shivua. Meaning, you can't make one guy swear that the sky is blue and one guy swear that the sky is green because one of them is for sure lying. All right, so therefore, if you're going to be an automatic false shivua, we don't do it. You can make someone swear, but as long as you don't force someone else to swear against him that someone's for sure swearing falsely. So maybe our Mishnah is against that, because our Mishnah seemingly allow you to swear against each other that contradict. When I say no, I feel about enough. No, really, our Mishnah can fit with Ben Nanas. Over there, someone's probably in the case of Ben Nanas, there's cases of people swearing falsely for sure that he doesn't allow it. Over here, they're not swearing falsely per se. Maybe each one truly believes he's swearing correctly. They grabbed the item at the same time. They saw this item on the street. They grabbed it. Each one says, I found it first. And they're both willingly, honestly swearing that they got it first. because they got it at the same time. They don't know who actually got it first. Okay. So our benanas can fit with our Mishnah. Next. Maybe our Mishnah is against sumchus. Sumchus holds that money that we're not sure about, who belongs to, we split automatically without a shivua. What's the case in sumchus? Baba Kama had a case where an ox gored a cow, and we saw that there was a fetus next to the cow. We're not sure if the fetus, the dead fetus, came out before it was gored or it came out because it was gored. So what's the difference? If it came out before it was gored, and the goring ox owner would be patur. If it came out because of the gorer, then the gorer's ox, the gorer's owner would be chiyaf. So for safek, should we charge the guy for the fetus or not? Sumchus holds automatic safek, automatic payment split in half. You pay half the value of the fetus. So our Mishnah says, Simchus says you pay without a shivua half. Our Mishnah says you pay half with a shivua. The Gemara says, 1 second. Who argues against Simchus? Rabbanan. Elamai Rabbanan. What's our Mishnah with Rabbanan? Ha'amri ha'motzim ha'ayur l'varaya. Rabbanan saying in that case, you don't pay at all until you bring proof that your ox caused the damage. You want to extract money from me? Bring the proof. Hamotzi mehavero alav hara'aya. We're going to have that a lot in our Masechet. So therefore, our Mishnah simply doesn't go according to either, because that Mishnah, according to Rabbanan, you would need to bring a proof. Our Mishnah says, just swear. So the Gemara says, "Hey, well, 1 second, what's going on here?" Maybe you could say our Mishnah does follow like Chachamim. Why? In the case of the cow, the money is in doubt, right? But both people don't have rights to the animal. The ox owner has rights to the animal. But there we could say that you have to bring a proof. But over here, since they both have rights to it, they both have their hands on it. Over here, if you both have rights to it, you both have had your hands on it. Over here, maybe you could swear and split it. That way, we could fit it according to Chachamim. Now, maybe you could say but according to Sumchus, it doesn't fit. Over there, in the case of the cow, Sumchus made you split it without swearing. So over here, if you both have hands on it, so for sure you should split it without swearing. So how can you fit our Mishnah according to Simchus? Maybe you can answer it according to Simchus. Ki amar Simchus shema v'shema. When do we say you split it without a shivua? Is when both are saying shema. Both are saying, I'm not sure. Shema, I don't know. Maybe, perhaps, yes, perhaps not. Aval bari, right? In the case of the cow previously, the ox, we don't know. I wasn't there when it happens. I don't know what happened. Maybe it happened because of you. Maybe it didn't happen because of you. That you swear without a shivua. But over here, by a case of I'm certain I have it, maybe you do swear. Maybe Simchus would agree in our Mishnah that you do swear. Where it says, however, that doesn't fit according to Rabbah. Rabbah bar Rav Huna says that Simchus would agree that safek money, even when you know for sure, like our case in the Mishnah, you would also split without shivua. So that's against our Mishnah. How would he explain our Mishnah according to Simchus? Simchus would seemingly disagree with our Mishnah according to Rabbah. Simchus, no, it could fit. When do you say that there's no shivua? Is when there is a loss of money happening. For example, in the case of the cow, the guy, if you don't fluce him for it without a shivua, then the guy is going to lose money. He's losing the fetus. So over there, you say, don't swear, split the loss in half. We don't want the guy to take a full hit. But in our case of our Mishnah, you can swear because there's no loss of money, and therefore we don't mind if the two litigants swear to say who's the item belonging to. Gemara says, 1 second. It's a little backwards. In the case of the cow, when there is a loss of money for either way, meaning if you don't pay the fetus, then the owner of the fetus loses full. And if you do charge the guy, then the guy has to pay for a fetus that he may not be responsible for. So in the case over there, there's loss of money on both sides. And one of them technically should be responsible for the whole thing. And over there, Simchus still said it. Even though technically one guy should be responsible, whether it's the owner of the fetus takes the full hit, or owner of the goring ox takes the full hit. And still over there, Simchu says, because we have a safek, you split without a shivua. Over here in our Mishnah, when no one's losing money, it's just an extra item that you found. And you could even say that maybe they did find picked up at the same time. You for sure should be no swear should happen. You should just say, okay, listen, no one's losing money here. You guys both say you have it. Just split it in half. No need to swear. So maybe Simcha should say that there is no shavua in our case, because over the case of the cow, there was no shavua either, and there would be a loss over there. All right, so we took the Gemara's answer and flipped it back on itself. We said, oh, there's no shavua because there is no, because the Simcha would say there is a shavua because there's no loss of money. Gemara says, no, opposite. Because there's no loss of money, there should not be a shavua like Simcha usually holds. Gemara says, I feel the same as Simcha. No. Simcha would agree in our Mishnah that you do swear when there's no loss of money. Why? Shavua zul midran hik Rabbi Yochanan. This shavua is a takana drabanan according to Rabbi Yochanan. It's to help us out. Why? Rabbi Yochanan. Shavua zul takana tahamimi. This is a takana. Shelo yehe kol echad ve'echad olay fetokib t'chatosh chaviru v'amer shelo. It's a smart one. It's a good idea. Because why? I'll explain right now. If we allow you, in the case of no loss of money, quote unquote, where you could say, hey, this is my item, and okay, split it. What's going to happen? Every guy's going to go to every other person in the street, grab their item and say, oh, it's mine. And you go to Bedin, okay, no need to swear, just split it. Comes Simchus and the Chachamim to tell you, according to Yochanan, that we have to make a takana. If you are able to walk over and get Bedin to split it, everybody's going to grab it. So therefore we say, swear. You say it's yours, you say it's yours, swear on it. And if you both swear, then we'll split it in half. So the Shivua is there, according to Chachamim, nothing to do with the loss or profit, like we said earlier, but rather to prevent people from grabbing things that don't belong to them to try to get a split. We'll stop here. Amen.